is an SR Suntour shock. I just popped this bad boy off my Polygon Siskiyou T7E, and I gotta say, I was a bit surprised to find SR Suntour components on such a high-performance e-mountain bike. I, like I'm guessing many of you, tend to associate the brand with lower-tier products on more affordable bikes. But does that mean that everything SR Suntour makes is subpar? To find out, I've been doing some research on the company, as well as taking my time testing out the fork and shock on the T7E. And I don't want to give away anything right off the bat, but let me just tell you, there have been some serious surprises. So let's kick things off with a little background information on SR Suntour. SR Suntour has been in the cycling industry a long time. They first entered the drivetrain market way back in 1988, and in 1995 became one of the first manufacturers to sell mountain bike suspension forks. SR Suntour has developed and innovated dozens of unique products since then, but today their main focus remains suspension. And boy, do they make a lot of it. With products ranging from this wallet-friendly 20-inch fork to this electronically controlled shock that was used to win not just one, but 2 gold medals at the 2024 Paris Olympics. Before looking into it a bit further for this video, I really had no concept that SR Suntour made such high-end components, or for that matter, sponsored such big-name athletes. And I think this is where my misconceptions came from. Since SR Suntour is one of the few manufacturers still committed to making durable and affordable entry-level suspension products, they end up all over the place. And for better or worse, the brand becomes highly associated with said components. The Axon Works fork that won the Olympics, or the dual crown Rux that's a regular on the Red Bull Rampage podium, aren't really seen in the real world as often. And that makes less observant folks like myself forget that they even exist. Once I had a better understanding of the level of performance that SR Suntour is capable of, I really wanted to look into a little bit more about what makes it different from more established brands like Fox and RockShox. And it turns out that there are a few key differences. For starters, they own their own factories. Now, this might not sound like a big deal at first, but it actually saves quite a bit of money over outsourcing the manufacturing, like most other big suspension brands do. And these savings are reflected in SR Suntour's lower prices. They also provide some pretty neat and unique services for their riders. My personal favorite is called the Upgrade Program, which gives current SR Suntour owners a $100 voucher towards upgrading their fork or shock. Lastly, just like any other high-performance suspension manufacturer, SR Suntour packs a ton of features into their products, including a variety of damping products fine-tuned for the fork or shock's intended use, built-in lubrication points for easy service, and travel adjustment on many of their air-sprung forks. The last thing I had to do before giving SR Suntour my official endorsement was put some of their products through their paces. And I had just the bike to do that in the Polygon Siskiyou T7E. The T7E comes equipped with the Aeon 35 Boost fork and Tri-Air 2 shock. It's immediately clear that both of the products are designed with serious mountain bikers in mind. The fork features SR Suntour's RC PCS damper with easy on-the-fly rebound and compression. I was impressed by just how wide the adjustment range was on this, allowing you to almost lock the fork out with the compression damping maxed out. You can also fine-tune the progression of the air chamber using volume spacers. But I found the factory settings worked great for my weight and riding style. There was an equally large range of adjustment on the back of the bike, with the Tri-Air 2 shock featuring 8 clicks of rebound adjustment and a 3-position lockout lever. One thing I did notice, however, was that both the Aeon fork and Tri-Air shock were a bit heavier when compared to Fox or RockShox models. That said, I doubt many riders will notice the few ounce difference while on the trail. As most of you are probably familiar with by now, setting up the suspension for the first time on a new bike can be pretty daunting. And seeing as this was my first time trying out the SR Suntour products, I didn't really have a baseline to go off of. Thankfully though, they have a super helpful table on their website that shows you not only recommended air pressures, but also rebound, compression, and even volume spacer settings as well. This helps keep the guessing game at a minimum and got me on the trail in much less time than I expected. And that's when things really got good. On the way up, I appreciated the supportive feel the fork and shock provided. Seeing as I was on an e-bike, I didn't bother engaging the lockout to increase efficiency, and even still, I didn't feel like I was bobbing too much in the travel. On the descents, I was treated to an impressive blend of suppleness at the top of the travel and plenty of bottom-out support for the bigger hits. The fork and shock were also completely quiet, which is something I always appreciate. I was also impressed by how stiff the fork was, especially considering the fact that it was bolted to a hard-charging e-bike. All in all, I was extremely impressed and, not gonna lie, extremely surprised by what I found out about SR Suntour while working on this video. Now I'm gonna continue logging some miles on my T7E to see how the suspension performs down the road, and you can expect to see a long-term review of that bike down the road too. Hopefully this video helped you clear up any misconceptions you might have had, like me, about SR Suntour, but if you still have any remaining questions, make sure to drop a comment below. While you're down there, like and subscribe to Bikes Online channel where I'll be hanging out, and after you've done that, get out there and get ripping.